Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves. What's going on, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions, and back by popular demand is my Hidden Gems segment. That's right, today I get to talk about 5 graphic novels that I don't hear enough people talk about or don't get enough appreciation. So, join me. Welcome back, everybody. Before getting started, I do want to thank our patrons for making videos like this possible. Seriously, could not be doing this without you all. And thank you all so much that have been asking, when is the Hidden Gem segment coming back? And I said, sometime soon. And I guess, is this soon enough? Was this good? Good. It's a Friday, right? So it's a great way to end the weekend. Today, I'm going to be talking about 5 graphic novels, collected editions that I don't see enough highlight on. These are some of my favorites and that I've enjoyed over the years. Some of them have been suggested to me. Some of you all have suggested hidden gems to me over the years. So by all means, leave those comments down below. And I do have a hidden gems playlist. And thank you again to my buddy James for keeping track to what books I'm talking about or I have talked about in the past so I don't double dip. Now, before going any further, please don't forget to smash that like button. That is a very small thing you can do, but it means the world to us here, especially with YouTube wanting to promote short videos. And as some of you all, most of you all that watch my videos know, I'm pretty long-winded. So, let's go ahead and start. We are kicking off today with Death Orb by Alejandro Aragon. It's an awesome name. And Ryan Ferrier. Also a cool name. There's just something about Aragon. That reminds me of Aragorn. Anyway, this is published by Dark Horse Comics. It is an all-in-one. There's no other volumes that follow this up. Although, it does leave it open for more stories if you wanted to come back and really enjoyed it. Now, this one is rated mature, and that's mainly due to the language and violence. And there is a lot of over-the-top violence that happens in this one. This particular book is about this post-apocalyptic world where there's this death orb that is coming. And I'll explain a little bit about that here in a second. But first I want to talk about our protagonist. So our protagonist is this rider, this guy that rides on his bike, motorcycle, called Henrietta, named after his missing wife. So he is looking in this wasteland for his wife and unborn child. He's been looking for them for a while now. And what you learn about this orb is that it's being summoned by these neo-Christian cults, and they seem to have a lot of power. Not a lot is explained because we just have to keep going and going, and it reminds me of a fast, action-packed summer blockbuster, really. I think it's been described as Mad Max meets Akira, and I can kind of see that because of the cyberpunk feelings, but I mean, there's not that much in-depth in this about the story because you're left with a lot of questions, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you just want to jump in the middle of something and have fun and follow this complete stranger. We don't even get his name. He's just known as the Rider. And at the very beginning, he's carrying around a head of one of his enemies because he thinks that the head is talking to him and giving him some kind of prophecy. He ends up running into a group of like-minded people and ends up joining them on their mission of revenge. And I just really enjoyed the whole cast of characters. Especially the ninja, who's a complete badass. And there's a bunch of mech suits in here, a bunch of just humans fighting with a bunch of armor and a bunch of guns. And the art by Ferrier really reminds me of Scalera's artwork, or somebody like Sean Murphy, like some early Sean Murphy stuff. I really dig it. It's scratchy, and the action sequences are great. Now, this one is only available in trade paperback, and like I mentioned, there is no other volumes to follow up, so it's all in one. A lot of fun with this one, and I wanted to kick this particular segment off with something really fun. Joyama by Daniel Isles, published by Dark Horse Comics. If you've been watching my videos for a while, I have talked about this one in the past, and thank you so much to all of you that have watched my videos. If you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing, because I do put out videos every day. But back to this book. I didn't want anybody to sleep on this because I really enjoyed it and I wanted to push this book on people. It is in black and white, and I know how some of my viewers are about black and white, and I completely respect that. But I feel like you're really missing out on something special here. Immediately when I saw the cover, I thought of Katsuhiro Otomo or Mobius, maybe a perfect mix of both. And that's exactly what I kind of got. It feels like a European style comic with a little bit of manga flair in there. And even the opening sequence is so awesome as you zoom out of to see how big this city is, this futuristic city. Big fan of that. At the very beginning, you're thrown in right in the middle of action. There's a transportation of what seems to be a prisoner, and somebody's trying to break the prisoner out, and you don't know exactly what exactly is going on. But like I said, sometimes I've really enjoyed that. You're asking yourself questions like, who ordered the hit on this prisoner, and is this guy really a prisoner? Then we move over to what our main cast of characters are, and that is the Outrider Soldiers. And the Outrider Soldiers are a team of pretty much a bunch of individuals that are contracted by clients or even the government to go and pretty much take down organized crime. So they're kind of like your vigilantes, and they're made up of 3 friends. They've been lifelong friends, Arwen and Ringo and Silas. So there's this whole mystery as to what exactly is going on, who's ordering the hits, is there really a crime syndicate that's behind everything? And even in the first volume, there's something shocking that happens that keeps you wanting to read more and more. But the artwork is what really drew me to this. There's just something really special about the way Isles visualizes motion. Like, for example, when somebody is running, like you can, without using the stereotypical lines that a lot of artists use to follow somebody that's running, it just makes it seem like somebody took a picture of somebody caught in the motion of running. I thought that was really cool. I really liked the way that, like, when the machine guns are shooting, you can kind of see the vibration even though they're not there. It's all a trick of the eye. I think it's wonderful. The other thing that I really appreciated about this particular book is the way that the word bubbles sometimes are replaced by emojis. And sometimes that kind of gives you more of an insight as to what the character's emotional state is within the story. And this one here is rated PG-13, mainly due to just a little bit of violence. I'd say, it's PG-13? No, that's a movie rating. I would say older teens, teen plus. There we go. That's what I'll say, teen plus. And basically that's just due to the violence. And there's not much of it, and it's not gratuitous, but it's there. And 2 volumes available so far, with a 3rd volume coming out later this year, 2023. Lions, Tigers, and Bears by Mike Bullock and Jack Lawrence, published by Alias Comics first, and then Image Comics published all 3 of the volumes. So this one does have 3 volumes. And yes, I did want to say oh my, because who doesn't after saying Lions, Tigers, and Bears, but I have to bite my tongue. Now, I've talked about some mature stuff, older teen, and I think the 2 of the books I'm going to be talking about are mature rating. But I wanted to talk about a book that's all ages because I think it's fun to read with the whole family, to share stories like this particular one with the kids. So if you have kids, keep this one in mind. This is such a cute story. It's kind of a mix of Calvin and Hobbes and The Wizard of Oz with Narnia thrown in there. And it's all about this little boy named Joey Price. And of course, when I looked at him, I immediately thought, oh, Calvin and Hobbes. But Joey Price is an 8-year-old boy who lives with his single mom. And they've moved away out of his town that he's grown up in. And he's left his friends. He doesn't have new friends. He's kind of scared of the world like every 8-year-old is. So what his grandmother does is he comes back to visit the old town where he lived. And she gives him a box set. What a wonderful grandma. Of these stuffed animals, and they're called the Night Pride. And they're a set of just stuffed animals who will later come to life, that's not a spoiler, because that's the hook, to protect him from the evil beasties that live in his closet, and sometimes under his bed. The Pride is made up of Aries, who's the white Bengal tiger, and oh my gosh, I've always wanted one, ever since I was a kid. Not a stuffed one, but a real one. Who knows? Maybe one day. You've got Minerva, who's the leopard, and you've got Venus, the other Bengal tiger, and they're all being led by Paulo, the lion. He's the leader of the Pride. And Joey and his Pride, the Night Pride, get transported to this world of beasties where they have to go and fight off these enemies and some of them are big and ruthless, and he's not the only human. He does end up running into another young girl named Courtney. Now, you can find out exactly who Courtney is and how she ended up there. And they have to make it out of this world to go back to the real world. It's a beautiful book for all ages. You don't have to be a kid to enjoy this. Seriously, you can be an adult and enjoy stories like this. It's full of lighthearted and colorful characters, and it's an adorable comic book that I think it would make an excellent choice for any young reader in the house. Or if you're young at heart, or if you just like stories about tigers, bears, lions. I had to do it that way so I didn't say oh my. Doesn't count. Hardcore by Andy Diggle and Alessandro Vitti, published by Image Comics. This is definitely mature due to the violence, the little bit of nudity in there, and the language. This is actually the brainchild of Robert Kirkman and Mark Silvestri. Apparently they came up with this idea, and I really dig this idea. What this is all about the Hardcore program. It's a secret government program, and they've developed this new technology that allows operatives to pilot the bodies of other humans so they can go and take over somebody's actions and their brain completely. And they explain all this. Comic book science, it's great. Instead of shooting a sniper bullet, it's like a bullet filled with this DNA encoding that they can take over the brain. Like I said, comic book science, it's amazing. And the best agent they have is Agent Drake. Now, you get to know a little bit about Agent Drake through the first volume here. There's only 2 volumes, by the way. And Drake is a nice guy. Like, he buys groceries for his old neighbor whose son doesn't even go and visit her. And he is the best there is at taking over people's bodies. Now, he can only inhabit the bodies. The rules are laid out for just 72 hours, and then the brain just dies. Both you and the host. And that's just a theory, but they don't want to test that theory. Now, the original person behind this program was Marcus, and Marcus is very jealous of Drake. He's very jealous of the program, went on without him, and he feels like the government just kind of screwed him over. So what ends up happening? Well, Marcus and his goons end up going and invading the program, pretty much killing everybody behind the chairs that are helping Agent Drake on his latest mission. So Drake is caught in the body of somebody that is sleeping with the wife of this very powerful general. And he has 72 hours to make it back to Hardcore to get his body restored. And keep in mind, he's in another country, so he goes on this just all-out action adventure trying to control this body. Luckily for him, it's somebody that's very fit, while his lover is with him and refuses to believe that it's not the guy that she's been with. What is her name? Lupe. So she teams up with him as they're trying to cross the border. They have to drive in these amazing car chases, and then you have to jump out of an airplane. Now, does Agent Drake make it back to his body and get it restored? Well, you can find out by reading it. It is definitely one of these books that does not slow down. It is a page turner, and I feel like it's Philip K. Dick meets Mission Impossible. Like, I think that might be a good way to describe this. Dan Panosian supplies the covers, and like I said, 2 trade paperbacks, and that's it. The story is over. And wrapping up this month's Hidden Gems, Devolution by Rick Remender, Jonathan Weishak, and published by Dynamite. Now, Rick Remender, I say that name. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably know that I'm a huge fan of all of his books. And anywhere from Deadly Class to Low to Fear Agent, pretty much anything he's done, I've been a fan of. And I feel like nobody really talks about Devolution. The story of Devolution itself is just awesome. This is definitely mature because of sexual content and graphic violence, over-the-top violence, which is so ridiculous. It's a lot of fun. And language. The story is about how the world, the entire Earth, has been devolved. So instead of going forward, like evolving, we have devolved. And how exactly did this happen and why? Well, that's not a spoiler, so I do want to give you the pitch. Now, everything on this planet, plants, insects, dogs, cats, humans, whatever is living on this planet, has devolved all due to this viral agent called DVO8. And this was man-made. It was created to eliminate the religious part of the human brain because people thought, well, if we don't have religion, then people won't want to start wars because they keep going back to that idea that, because of religion, that's why we have wars. And it backfired on them because, of course, things like this always backfire. And what it ended up doing was devolving most of the living creatures on this planet. But not all, because there's small, isolated locations where humans are still living. And it's almost like this post-apocalyptic, even though everybody has devolved around them, they're still trying to create this society where the strong rule. It's very Fist of the North Star, Mad Max type of story. You have the leader of one of these groups, his name Gil. He's like a redneck Nazi, and he wants to push that on everybody. Now, there is hope, though. There is hope, and that is in the form of this young lady named Raha, whose father was the one that invented the disease. So she thinks there's a cure, or knows there's a cure in San Francisco. So the journey takes her there. She ends up running into this camp that's run by, like I said, this neo-Nazi redneck Gil, and he decides to keep her captive. So along with a group of other people from that particular camp, they decide to join her on her journey. And on this journey, they're going to be meeting giant creatures that are trying to eat them because that's what things do when they get evolved. And I really like the character of Raha, though. She's the type of character that doesn't give up, even when big giant bugs are about to eat her, and she makes for a really interesting protagonist. I will say that this book does make you question a lot of the decisions that are made by characters, and even the ending, I was left like, oh, would I have done the same thing? And the other thing I really enjoyed about this book is Weishak's style. He brings this visceral style to the pages of Devolution. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Simon Beasley and Sam Keith, like a mix of both of those artists. And that's always a good thing. And Jay Lee is the one that ends up supplying the covers. This is an all-in-one. It's only available in trade paperback. Now, if you're interested in any of the books I've been talking about in this particular segment, check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And those were my 5 hidden gems for the month of August. Leave those comments down below. Let me know what you've been reading that you would think would be a great addition to the segment. Let me know what you've read from here that you're like, what's wrong with you? Why would you add that? I would love to know all those comments. Leave them down below. Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out our Patreon and Spreadshop. Amazing ways to support the channel if you can do so. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.